Hi, welcome to this new section. In this new section, we are going to set up fonts, colors and icons for our Solo website. In this lecture, we will choose right fonts for Solo website. There is no formula for choosing the right fonts for a website. Often the best way to decide on one is to just try out and compare. Choosing fonts is really a difficult job. But it is important to remember that 90% of the time a user would not be thinking about what font is used. So if it is readable, then that is good enough. Google provides best collection of free fonts and it is always my first place to go for fonts. Go to this address fonts.google.com and you will see Google Fonts directory. Google Fonts directory provides great list of free fonts. All the fonts are released under open source licenses. You can use them in any non-commercial and commercial projects. You can look for serif and sans serif fonts and you can look for trending fonts by popularity. The fonts I have decided to use for Solo project are Railway and Open Sans fonts. They're very amazing and very popular fonts and they look great with each other. So we are going to use two different fonts for our Solo website, which are Railway and Open Sans. Let us first have a look at Railway font. I'm going to open the Railway font in a new page. On this page, you can know about the designer of this font. You can know about the usage and you can see the live preview of this Railway font. Let us add this Railway font to our Solo project. I am going to click on this plus sign and this font will be selected for me. And then I am going to click on this family selected window and here I can see link to Railway font. And it also tells us how we can use this Railway font inside CSS. If you want to customize it, you can go to the customize section and here you can see different options. As you can see that we have several font weights and we need to add some of these font weights. I'm going to choose thin 100 and then I'm going to choose extra light 200 and then I'm going to choose light 300, medium 500, semi bold 600 and bold 700. These are the font weights for Railway font. I'll go back to the embed section and as you can see that the link tag is modified for font weights. These are the font weights for Railway font. Now we just need to copy this link tag and we will embed it in the head section of Solo project. I am going to copy this link tag and I am going to open the Solo web project and I am going to add Google Fonts inside head section of this index.html file right here. The link of Google Fonts should come before the style.css because we are going to use Google Fonts inside style.css. Therefore, Google Fonts link should come before the style.css because this sequence matters. Next, let me add the second font and the second font is this Open Sans font. I'm going to open this Open Sans font in new window and I'm going to click on this plus sign and this font will be selected for me. Here is the link for Open Sans font. If I go to the customize section, I can see different options for this font. Here you can see several font weights for this Open Sans font and I'm going to choose light 300, semi bold 600 and bold 700. And this is the modified link for this font along with its font weights. Now I have to simply copy this link tag and I will link it right here. That's it. Adding Google Fonts by this way makes a web page runs very fast because it safely cache fonts. Let me add comment for Google Fonts so we know that it is Google Fonts. The comment is Google Fonts. I will go ahead and I'll save these changes. Now let me open this index.html file inside the web browser. I'm going to click on this open in browser icon. And I'm going to inspect this web page. As you can see that there is no font assigned to this web page. Right now this web page is using Chrome default fonts. We have just embedded Google Fonts to our index.html file, but we have not used it yet. Let me use this railway font for this h1 element. I am going to open the style.css file, and inside the style.css file I'll first write some comments, and the comment is it would be just a comment. And I'm going to make a note for our solo website, like the default values, or I can say default theme. And we just decided to use Google Fonts, and the fonts are Railway and OpenSense. It is just a comment and a note for solo website. Okay, now I am going to select this h1 element. I'll write h1 and then opening and closing curly braces, and inside these curly braces I am going to write CSS for this h1 element. We are going to set the font, and for that we will use CSS font family property, and the value for this would be Railway. The font family property specifies the font for an element. In this case it will specify the Railway font for this h1 element, which means it will be applied to all the h1 elements inside this index.html file. The font family property can hold several fonts. In case if the browser doesn't find Railway, we can provide an alternate option separated by a comma, and the alternate option can be sans serif. So by this way we can add multiple fonts to an element. I'll go ahead, I'll save these changes, and I'm going to refresh this page, and you'll see Railway font in action. Awesome. Now if I inspect this h1 element, you can see the Railway font for this h1 element. If I uncheck it, the font will be back to the normal default font. If I check it again, it will be Railway font for this h1 element. In this course we will use combination of these two fonts for solo website. In this solo project we will mostly use Railway font for all the headings and OpenSense font for paragraphs, and somewhere we will use combination of these two fonts. Okay, I will delete this CSS because we don't need it. Now we have added Google Fonts to our solo website, and that is great, and we are doing a great job towards the final look of our solo website. Before I end this lecture, one important thing I want to mention: if you have any question, please do ask me. I would always be glad to help you out because I want you to learn best from this course, and I am doing my best, but no one is perfect. Therefore, I am asking you, if you have any confusion, please let me know directly. Thanks, and I'll see you in next class.